I had a lot of good times like that.
Hmm.
Mike, do you
Especially
have
after a show when you're going to the bar.
Yeah.
so Mike? Do you have any final
No,
questions or anything?
no, no,
Or
I'm all set. You got any further questions?
I
No, but listen, if you guys are available and you ever want to come to a show, I mean, not a, I mean, a podcast, just let us know. You're more than welcome to come on. We'll send you a link,
Absolutely.
and
definitely.
we can interview on our podcast. It's an hour long, no
Hour and a
interruptions.
half,
Yeah,
give or take.
definitely.
Uh,
It'd be a little bit because we got like a couple of interviews next several weeks on Sundays, right, Jeremy? We got a few.
I know we got one tomorrow.
In 1 and 2 weeks.
I mean, if we got to record it, you guys let us know. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah,
we can always make stuff happen. I have,
I mean,
I'm the,
the thing
I'm
is,
the producer, the recorder, the uploader. I'm the podcast extraordinaire for our show.
Okay.
yeah,
Um, you know,
Let you
so
know.
I kind of do, like I said, that's one of those things that I was telling you guys earlier. I do just about a little bit of everything for the show. The designs, the
Cool.
booking, running the show, producing the show, uploading the show. I do just about everything for the show. I mean, obviously, as far as the back end stuff, I do just about everything, but I can't do what I do without my dad and our other co-host and our fourth co-host who, our podcast started with four of us.
yeah,
Then it was three of us. Then our third co-host stepped away. Then it was just two of us.
yeah,
And then we made some magic over the last few years with the guys we brought on and cigar makers and stuff like that. And then our other co-host wanted to come back,
Hmm.
so obviously we said no problem. Um, and then
but here's the limitation.
I was talking to our fourth co-host last night on a TikTok live. He was smoking cigars with a couple of guys, and I invited him back on the show as well. So it's it gets kind of fun when you can bring back people who started the shows with you.
yeah, yeah. Would y'all mind sharing on how y'all started y'all's podcast?
Yeah, so I'll kind of start that because it started with me, our buddy, the OG cigar tender, and another friend of ours, Kyle,
Yeah,
from Kinzua Cigar Club. It started during COVID on Instagram.
you come out.
Um, it originally started right at the beginning of COVID with me and my dad. We figured we would start a podcast with wrestling and cigars because that's what we both loved. So, I was trying to figure out how to do it. I bought the old school like Zoom podcast recorder. Um,
Right.
and we were sitting in a hotel room because we rented a hotel room just to get the hell out of the house for a little while after being stuck inside for so long. Um, and I couldn't figure out how to do it, but it was something we always wanted to do. And then we were on Instagram, me, my buddy Kyle, and the OG, and we were all kind of talking wrestling and smoking cigars, and we'd have friends of ours who were cigar makers jump on and stuff like that. And then we were on there one night for like 2-3 hours, and there was nobody watching. So we decided to kind of do like a Instagram call, kind of like we're doing now.
Yeah,
And then we were doing it, and we were like, "Yo, we should just make this we should just make this our podcast." And then I was like, "Well, why don't we bring my dad on too?" I said we should bring the four of us together since we're all friends. We all smoke together. We all talk wrestling together, and having the connections my dad has, I'm like, that'll help us get more wrestlers on because I have some connections. He's got a lot more than I do, and it just kind of it went from there, and then we were on Instagram talking about it, and we hooked up with MB Radio, which is a veteran-owned radio station. They give veterans and first responders their voice to be able to, kind of get themselves out of a rut and, be able to express how they feel because my co-host is a former Army medic, I believe, and my dad being a first responder as a fireman. And, we got with them and, they taught me how to produce the show, how to run the show. And I think within the first 6 months, I was almost basically doing, everything for the show. I was kind of producing it, uploading it, stuff like that. And, then we ran with it and we got picked up by a sports network. And then the owner of the sports network passed away. So the network is now defunct. They're not around anymore. Northeast Streaming Sports Network, rest in peace to Mac. And then, from there, we just kind of ran with it, and we've been doing it for the last three years almost. I think 4 now.
3
Something
years.
like that.
3 years.
3 years, going on our 4th year next year. And, we've been working on our own cigars now coming out in the next couple of weeks. We've had a lot of independent wrestlers on. We had my boy Adonis Stone, who was trained by Grim Reaper. We've had Ryan Frost. We've had Big Smoke. We've had the Puerto Rican Prince on as well. He's out of, PA or Jersey, I believe.
Yeah.
And we're working on getting some other names on as well, but we're gonna have Bill Alfonso on at some point. Bill was booked to come on last year, but I had to move dates because I had to move. So it's an interesting concept, especially when you really get into it. And you can make friends and kind of do what you do, and be able to help out other podcasts if they need help, or use different platforms. Like we use StreamYard for our podcast.
Yeah.
It's a great platform. I love it. It has its ups and downs, but that's nothing I can control. That's out of my control.
Yeah.
Correct.
But that's
Yeah.
basically how the podcast started.
Okay. So a little bit of history of this podcast, The Broken Turnbuckle. I was going through a divorce. So my wife took the kids and left. Big drama there. Not going to go into much detail about what all entailed. But that happened in February of last year. Come March, I'm here by myself. Like, no one's here.
Right.
All I got is just me, my dogs, my cats, and just my thoughts. So, I had a few friends that were actually helping me cope through it, but nothing was really helping through this mess. And what happened was one of my buddies was a college roommate of mine, and we would talk wrestling all the time. And we still message each other for WWE pay-per-view PLEs and everything else. Just talk about WWE and wrestling. Well, I come up with the idea that maybe I should make a podcast.
Right.
Of just us talking about wrestling, because this may actually be very good. And I also got a message one day saying, hey, you had this YouTube channel, why don't you make more videos? And I just sat there, was like, maybe I could put the podcast on my YouTube channel. So I make the announcement.
Wow.
I went ahead and made the announcement to show that, I'm thinking about doing the podcast. He sees it. He messaged me before I could message him, saying that he's down to do it. And I'm like, perfect. Let me get all the equipment here. I ordered the computer, the camera, the microphone, the whole setup there. And right when we got to it, we were like, okay, we got all the equipment now. what do we do next?
Yup.
So, um, at that point, we were experimenting with Zoom, Google Meets, all these different things, trying to figure out, okay, what um, app can we use, or what software can we use
Right.
to do the
Right.
calls together? And then we were wondering, okay, what can we do to actually record the things? And I looked on to my thing, ran into Clipchamp, downloaded it, and saw that it was the only app that was actually installable on my computer that will actually record the screen itself. So I had to use that, and we were wanting it to just go all the way through without any issues because Google Meets and Zoom was only giving us about 30 minutes of airtime, and then it would just hang up. And we're
Right.
like, no, we're not going to be doing that. So we decided to do messenger calls first, and then we started to record. And Clipchamp only does 30 minutes of recording per time, but if it stops recording, hey, I can let them know that we stopped recording. I can click back up and start recording again. No
Right.
issue. No issue. So we do that,
Right.
and he's on for about 2, maybe 3 episodes. We're just getting ready for WrestleMania. He calls me up, says, I can't do the podcast anymore. Can't go to much detail about it, but can't do it. He had an issue that he has yet to actually fully talk about. So
Okay.
I go on to a Facebook group, say, hey, I'm doing a podcast. I need a co-host. Mike comes on.
Well, you stumbled on their Spotify podcast I did with my buddy. You, after looking, when
Yeah.
he saw some of the broadcast, probably on Facebook, so he kept him on Facebook, and that's how he got in touch with us. We got
Yeah.
in touch with my friend, and he didn't want to do his eyesight to do it. After that,
Okay.
Yeah.
that's how he figured it. I do a buddy podcast on Spotify, Ball Insanity. I don't do as often as I used to anymore because he's not as much time. So I do it once in a while, basically on that. But I do this with Jeremy all the time, except for a few months I had to take off for personal issues. But I came back a few months ago after all the thing was done. I
Right.
told him to be back. I
Yeah.
came back. So
Yeah. And when he left, I was getting ready to bring in a few guests on the show. Some former wrestlers and things that I was able to get in touch with. And one of them backs out at the very last minute. And I'm sitting here like, I got absolutely nothing for this week. So I look on my friends list and I run into a guy named Bobby Bristow. Bobby knows. And I just see that he has a few wrestling experience and he has a few videos of himself wrestling. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to casually message him and see if he has any ideas on who all I can bring on to the show this week. He says, I'll do it.
Right.
Perfect. Just need a good buffer for the week. I'll bring you on. No problem. We do it. Interview him just like we're doing you right now. Both of y'all right now. It's working out great. And then I plug in for the next week because we had a plan for the next week show. And he goes up and says, can I show up for the next week? I'm like, sure.
And your answer was no.
Yeah.
And he turns out to be the next co-host of the broken turnbuckle by accident, and then he keeps on giving me all these different ideas, and we're going with it, we're flowing with it, and then eventually he's like, "Hey, this is kind of interfering with my wrestling, and things," and I was like, "Well, first off, I was not wanting to interfere with your wrestling. That's number
Right.
one. Number two, you volunteered for this. I did not say that this was going to be a voluntold thing. This was completely going to be optional. You know,
Right.
you know, and thirdly, um, thirdly, um, if you have anyone else that wants to be on the show, I've always said this. If you want anyone else to show up on the show, please let me know ahead of time. Give me their name, their contact, or whatever. And he gives me like 5 to 10 people. And I start to do the interviews with that. And eventually Mike does come back, and we start talking about the different topics and things. And eventually we start semi-running out of topics to talk about. And that's when we start saying, hey, let's start interviewing some wrestlers till we can actually get some actual more topics to do while we try to get everything situated. So, yeah, that's
Yeah, and after we did that one interview, what was with
Doug
Doug,
Masters.
and then after that, he told me a week later, oh, a lot of people saw the podcast that want to be on here. Mike says, wow, big list, let's do it.
Yeah,
Everybody
let's
started
do it.
honestly want to do a podcast. They heard about us, and we've been doing interviews ever since.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
great.
Long
I
list of
cannot
interviews.
guarantee that the views have changed.
Increased. Increased.
I mean,
We're on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook views.
Well, it's Saturday afternoon, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it
you know like
happens.
us. Ours started out on Sunday. We used to do Wednesday mornings, or
No, we used to do Saturday mornings at some point.
we started out doing Saturday mornings
Yeah.
at like 6:00.
Yeah, it was 7 a.m. and then they moved us to Sundays at 7. And then when we got hooked up with the sports network, they moved us to 11.
Right. Well, let me get to the point. So I had to call up all my people that I was booking, and I'm like, bro, listen, I need a favor. Here's the story. They're like, Dave, you're killing me. You know, I have a thing on Sunday over here. You know, I have something on Sunday night down in Harlem. I have something over in Queens. And I'm like, Jesus Christmas, what the hell is going on? So next thing I know, I get a phone call. Hey, call my office. I call. David, how are you doing? I'm okay. So needless to say, after that, we get the bookings or whatever, and then they tell us they're going to change our days again. And I'm like, again? It's the second time. Yeah, but now you're going to what was it, Joe? 11 o'clock instead of 7
we went
o'clock.
to 11. We were going, I think, 7 and 9. And then we moved to 11 to 12:30.
Right, with different days. They
With a different day. Yeah, we went from
Yes.
Saturday mornings to Sunday mornings to Sunday afternoons.
So it was easier to get people on a late time than it was on an early time because these dudes out here be partying on the weekends.
Yep.
And they don't want to come on a podcast. Like I
They don't want to
texted.
come on that early.
No, I texted Rick. The president of New York. So I texted him. I'm like, yo, homeboy, check it out. And he goes, what's up? I said, we got a new podcast. I want you on it. And he goes, when? And I said, on a Sunday from 11 to 12:30. He goes, oh, brother, you're killing me. You know what I got to do on Saturdays and Fridays? I said, you know, I do that every day of the week while you're cuddling in bed with your wife. I'm already at work for 4.5, 5 hours.
Ooh.
You know, so
so that's kind of how we got our start.
That's how we
in
got
the
our start.
podcasting.
Yeah,
It's been a fun ride, though.
definitely.
Anything else for me?
Yeah, it's been an interesting ride for me and definitely for Mike as well. Yeah. So, yeah, we got nothing else here. So, other than that, this has been DJ08, Mike,
That's quick.
Vanilla Gorilla, and Big
The
Dog.
big dog.
Oh, here you go.
Thank y'all, and
Thank you guys
goodbye.
again.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Thank you for having us on. It's been fun. We love doing stuff like this. And, you know, we wish you guys nothing but success.
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks.
good day, guys.
Thank
You too.